Today I want to talk to you about whether or not pursuing computer science and learning how to code is the right decision for you in 2025. The things that I'm going to say in this video are going to apply differently from person to person, so the way that they apply to you may be different than the way that they apply to somebody else. Hopefully by the end of this video you'll have a pretty good idea of whether or not pursuing computer science and learning how to code is the right decision for you as an individual. To give you a little bit of background on myself, I started going to school for computer science 2 years ago, and this past spring I graduated with my associate's degree in computer science. Being at this point in my education, I've really started to reflect on whether or not continuing to pursue computer science is the right decision for me. To be completely honest, I really didn't know, and honestly, I still don't know for sure. But at this point, I've kind of gotten to a solution that I think is best for me right now. So my hope is with talking through it in this video, you'll end up having a pretty good idea on what it is that you want for yourself in the future and kind of where you want to end up. And hopefully that'll help you decide if computer science is the right decision for you right now. So in this process of trying to figure out what I want to do with my life and where I want to go in the future, it's really got me reflecting on why it is I got into computer science in the first place. So I started thinking, and I realized that I had a blog and I would write about fitness and working out, and I really wanted to be able to customize that blog exactly how I wanted it. So I wanted to learn some web development. So I was like, might as well go to school for computer science. I knew it was something that would be in demand at the time, and I wanted to be able to customize my blog exactly how I wanted it. So I never really had the vision from the start of being a coder or like a developer for like a company. I never really wanted to work that kind of like desk job where I was just sitting there and coding all the time. So with the rise of AI and the threat of AI taking all these beginner developer jobs, it doesn't pose as much of a threat to me, just because that really wasn't something that I had envisioned myself doing in the first place. So with that, it's kind of acceptable to me. Like, I can still pursue computer science and not have as much of a fear with the way that people are saying AI is going to be taking over these jobs, because that wasn't really something that I wanted in the first place. On top of that, when I was reflecting on all of this, it got me thinking of a conversation I had with some people previously at a scholarship convention. So this was around maybe a year ago, and we were talking about how there's no guarantee that AI is going to be taking these developer jobs. Like, sure, I'm sure you know you can just go into ChatGPT and give it a coding prompt and it's going to spit back the code at you in seconds, something that probably would have taken me and you like hours to write and debug. So you can do that with ChatGPT very easily. But the thing is, there's a lot that can go wrong with that code. So if somebody who doesn't know how to code at all goes and uses this code that's developed from AI, it may work, maybe it'll work all the time, but there's almost a guarantee to be some type of issues with that code, even if they're not immediate, but maybe later down the road. And someone who doesn't know how to code and understand like how the computer works, they won't be able to go in and fix that code the way that they need to. This becomes an even bigger problem if they take that code and try to sell it to somebody else, because now they have this person that they sold the code to, and this person may come back months or years down the line and be like, you gave us this product and now it's not working, we need you to fix it. And all of a sudden this person who doesn't know how to code actually used AI to develop the code, and AI is the one who created the problem in the first place. They run into a big problem. Whereas if I had done that and I know how to code, I can go through it and say, okay, this is what the code should be doing, this is what it is doing, let me look and find the error and fix that. So it gives me a slight advantage in terms of using AI to build some type of product over somebody who does not know how to code at all. Which leads me into the point that one thing that we know for sure is that It's not necessarily AI that's going to be taking people's jobs, but people who know how to use AI. So if you are learning how to code and or going to school for computer science, if you can stay on top of AI and the different technologies that are coming out, you're going to be in a very good position, much better position than somebody who's not staying on top of those things. Because if I know how to use AI and it can make me so much more efficient and so much of a better coder, then I'm almost guaranteed to take somebody else's job who's not staying on top of that and not utilizing those tools that are available. So it's not necessarily AI that's going to steal your job, but people who know how to use AI. So you want to make sure that you're staying on top of that. But honestly, like that's a way to kind of give yourself an advantage over other people, but still, it's not a way to guarantee that you're going to have a job afterwards or that AI won't replace your job. But I think that's, as someone who's pursuing technology, that's something that you kind of have to expect. You know, way back to the beginning of time or whenever technology started coming out, I don't know, whenever it was, there's always been uncertainty about what things are going to look like in the future. But that's kind of what you have to know that you're getting into as someone who's pursuing technology. You have to know that you're always going to have to be constantly learning, staying on top of what's going on and the way that things are adapting, and that there is going to be uncertainty about what things are going to look like in the future. So that's just kind of part of the whole technology thing, that yes, AI makes it even more uncertain right now, but even before AI, there was tons and tons of uncertainty about what things would look like in the future. Another conversation that I had at this scholarship convention was that these people had noticed, now this was all people who were either like pursuing STEM or working in some like STEM related field, you know, science, technology, engineering, or math. So we were all got together and we're talking, and one of the things that we had talked about also was that these people who were working, they'd noticed that there is a gap in understanding and communication at their jobs. So basically, there's a gap between people who like understand technology and those who are trying to communicate to the people who understand technology what they need. So I think it'd be better if I use like an example to explain this. So let's say there's a business person over here, and then there's the technology person over here who's trying to provide the service to the business person. Now, the business person is going to be talking in terms of business, you know, whatever they need for the business, they're trying to communicate to the technology person. The technology person is trying to receive this in terms of technology and what it is that they need to develop. So this creates kind of a clashing communication where it's very hard to get the point across and very hard for the developer to know what it is that they need to do for the business. Now, let's say we introduce a third person into the mix, and that's me, hypothetically, and I understand business and technology. All of a sudden we get rid of this communication gap, and this business person can communicate to me in terms of business, and I can just translate that into what I need to develop for the business to make the process a lot more efficient and more successful. It eliminates that clashing communication, and hopefully it makes it easier for me to create what the business wants without as much trial and error. So basically what these people were trying to say is that there is a gap. So if you're someone who understands technology and you compare that with something else, then you become a powerhouse to any type of company because you get rid of this gap of understanding and you can provide essentially two roles in one. So you become very valuable, and it's very likely that you'll end up with some type of position somewhere. At the end of the day, I think there's always going to be a demand for people who understand technology. Even if these large tech companies are embracing AI agents and getting rid of all of their developers, then I think there's always going to be a huge amount of people who just don't want to make the shift to AI. All throughout time, we always see that people are resisting technology because people don't like change. Not just technology, but whatever's changing, a lot of people resist it because we like to stay where we are and keep doing what's comfortable to us. So I think there's a lot of just regular people and small businesses who aren't going to want to make the shift to focusing only on having AI handle all their tech stuff, if we even get to that point, which we aren't at yet. So I think it's still safe for us, because one advantage that me and you have over AI is that we're real people, and people like to talk to other people. So we can communicate with someone and develop a connection and a level of trust with them so that they're willing to give us whatever information we may need about them or their business or whatever it is, so that we can create the code and the product for them. And in my opinion, they're much more likely to be resistant in giving their information to AI and just using AI at all, because it's a computer, and if they don't understand computers, if they can't develop that level of trust with them, they're most likely not going to want to use them. And that's why they're utilizing us in the first place. If you're interested in learning more about what I've learned so far as a computer science student, then check out my most recent video, which I'll try and put in the description below, but I don't know if I can do that yet. But check out that video. I talk about kind of what I learned and what I'd do if I had to learn how to code all over again. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and good luck on your journey. Bye!